Hey guys, this is Jax. He's a 2.5-year-old Labradoodle, and he got here a few days ago, and he's at a real rough start. He's been struggling for a few days. And so when I get a dog that has a hard time being here, I do things a little different than I do with most dogs. So with most board and trains, for the first 3 or 4 days, I really don't do anything. I don't do any training. I just allow them to spend time with me and my family and get acclimated to their new location, their new home for the time being, and get comfortable and build that relationship before we start any training for the most part. But with a dog like Jax that struggles so much, I usually go right to work. I start the training right away. And the reason I do that is because I've experienced over the years that it just works a lot better with dogs that struggle. So his biggest issues at this point is no eating, no drinking, no peeing, no pooping for a while. Okay, and I'm not worried about the eating. You know, a lot of dogs will do that. No big deal. He's not going to starve to death. After a few days, when he finally gets hungry, he'll eat. Plus, he's a little overweight, so it's not going to hurt him to miss a few meals. Part of the reason is, on top of him being really insecure and nervous and stressed out here, he is free-fed at home, and that always creates a problem because I'm not going to free-feed him. I'm going to put him on a schedule, and that's just part of the training plan here, you know. But I do get concerned with the water. He has to drink, and he wasn't even drinking either. And so my whole plan here is to have Buddy run him around and play with him and just try to get him to be more of a dog, just act like a dog. But that usually will bring on some thirst. All right. And what happened, I shot this video earlier today, and it's kind of late now. And what happened is the first thing Jax did when I brought him inside was went right to his water bowl and drank. And I leave a water bowl in his pen with him, so he has full access to water. And he drank a lot as soon as he went in. So that alone made this worth it, you know. He didn't even pee for like the first 10 or 12 hours that he was here. He finally pooped last night for the first time. Again, that's not a big deal. A lot of dogs sometimes will go a day or two before they poop, before they get really comfortable, you know. But just, you know, everything combined together, I don't like to sit around and wait for him to feel better. I put him right to work, okay? The first night he was here, he barked straight through the night. He's a barker, and that made a very long, rough night for me. You know, I was completely exhausted. Not much I could do about that at this point. And so what I did was I immediately started the training the following day and did a lot of leash work. Of course, there's no food involved because he won't take food. So it's just all leash work and verbal praise. And I even started conditioning to the e-collar. And he did very well with that. He does good training. The whole purpose of me starting the e-collar is it does wonders with insecure dogs, okay? I still would have waited with the e-collar if it wasn't for the barking and some of the other issues. So the reason I started that is, if you notice now, if you see the collar that Jax has on now, it's not an e-collar, it's the pager only from e-collars Technologies. And so there's no contact points on there, it's just a vibration collar. And because there's no contact points and it sits flat, I could put it on him before he goes to bed. I do this all the time with dogs that bark at night, as long as they're conditioned to the e-collar. And so I put that on him before I go to bed, and I take the remote to bed with me, and the first time he barked, I just tap that button, and it just vibrates a little bit and gets his attention, and he didn't bark no more at all. So it works very well. If you guys ever run into that problem, I've done it many times, and it always works wonders. Dog has to get rest. You have to get rest. I know I have to get rest. And that's why we did that. But you see, Buddy's really trying to get him to play, and Buddy does a really good job with dogs like this. I always let Buddy play with dogs like this. And the thing is, I don't let all board and trains play with my dogs. only the ones that I think it will benefit them. Or even when I do allow dogs that I have here play with my dogs, I they're here for a while before I ever do that. The foundation is strong and the training is where it needs to be. And then I'll let them play with whichever of my dogs best suits them. And for the just happy-go-lucky or the insecure dogs, Buddy does a great job there. So here I just want to play a little ball with Buddy and get him to chase the ball and play and just get Jax tempted a little bit to play. He wants to play. He just doesn't know how to play in these surroundings. That's all. Not a big deal. He will come around. And you'll see towards the end of this video here, he gets a little pep in his step and almost gets excited at one point, but he's kind of holding himself back, So this is the first time these two ever played together, And the other thing is, guys, when they're in their pens inside, they're side by side. I always have my dogs with the board and trained dog, especially in the beginning, just to get them more comfortable. And my dogs being calm and relaxed definitely helps these dogs settle in, But these are the dogs where you earn your money. You know what I mean? It's easy to deal with a dog that wants to hurt you or wants to run away or is just batshit crazy. But when you have a dog that doesn't know how to act like a dog when it's away from home, that makes it really, really tough, And I'll get more details on what Jax's home life is like, But obviously he has very caring, committed owners. They drove down here from a far away, out of state. And so anyone that has that kind of commitment, I'm not worried about. They're going to go along with the changes we need to make. That's not an issue. The free feeding is one thing that, will have to change. Can't do it. And plus, Jack's a little heavy. He's a little plump. He's looking kind of like me, so we got to take some weight off of him too. Sometimes with the doodles, it's hard to tell, but I got in there with my hands and ran him around his side, and he's plump. He definitely needs to lose a few pounds. He's too young, too, to be put on that kind of weight. He'll get much heavier if we allow him to, But from here, there you go. See, he just now he's tempted to play. He wants to play, but he's just not sure exactly if he wants to go all the way through with it. And Buddy's doing a good job. He's doing a really good job. But he'll come in and tempt him, and then he'll move away. Instead of push like you see people do with insecure dogs, Buddy knows, just like dogs know, hey, here, you want to play with me? But then he moves away. He gives him space and gives him the opportunity to chase him and come play. And that's what these dogs need. They don't need you pushing up on them, putting a lot of pressure on them, And we'll just, now within a day or two, we'll be able to get back to normal training and normal circumstances. He'll be fine. I don't know if I said it yet, but he did eat tonight for the first time. And so we had a good day, He drank immediately after this, and then when I put his food down tonight, he ate it immediately, which is great. So now we're getting back to normal. Not a big fan of doing these voiceover things, but it's better than the sound we had, I guess, because it's hard to try to talk and with the camera in your hand, try to keep up with these wackos. But you see, he's just like, hey, should I go play with him? Let me go over here, check him out. All right, let me sniff him now. Let me sniff his Goldendoodle butt. I'm superior because I'm a Labradoodle. There's a little doodle racism going on there, but we're going to bring them together, right? Black and yellow coming together. Buddy's a good boy. I've never done much training with Buddy. He's just a well-behaved house dog that, he isn't trained to the level of any of my other dogs have ever been, but he's a really good dog, and he does absolutely fantastic in these situations. So I use him quite a bit now. I found a job for him, but I'll keep you guys posted. And there we go. See, he's like, all right, come on. I'm going to play, Buddy. There we go. Look at me. Woo! Most people won't watch this, and I don't blame them. It's 11, 12 minutes of what most people would consider nothing, but I love just sitting back and watching what goes on in their head and watching the slight changes that Jax will make. But more importantly, the changes he's going to make as we move forward. He'll be here for a while, probably a good month, I don't like, I like keeping my board and trains a long time now and taking my time. The longer I keep them, the easier that transition to the owners is, and it just makes a really big difference. I don't like feeling rushed. I used to do 2-week board and trains, and I can't imagine going back to that, because even that third week over the second week is tremendous, huge difference. So 4 or 5 weeks compared to 2 weeks, no comparison. The longer you keep these dogs, the more you can accomplish without putting so much pressure and rushing and putting unneeded stress on the dog. He's already under enough stress, but he'll be fine. And that's Jax, and my sidekick here, Buddy, helping me try to make him a regular dog. And I'll start working on getting Jax to play with me too. We'll get him playing ball here real soon. He doesn't have much interest yet. I've done a couple of things messing around with him just to see where he's at. And again, you could tell it's in there. He wants to play. He just doesn't know how to do that with me yet. But I'm going to teach him that. And once we get him doing that, then you'll see huge changes in his personality and demeanor. You got to get these dogs to play, guys. So a combination of all the behavior stuff, the obedience, the play, it all comes together, but I'm a big believer that you need all of it. Play and tools.